talk about AI empowerment. How can we maximize employee potential with AI Agent Assist? These are AI powered tools that support human agents during live customer interactions. There is also a post call quality assurance component that can provide feedback, coaching, and training as well. But first, what's the challenge that we're really trying to solve? And where does that get us? We're going to explore these things over the next 20 minutes. First, it's important for us to understand that we're seeing businesses of all sizes deploy Agent Assist tools, primarily in voice, but also in text-based interactions across not just support teams, but also sales, client success, and operations teams. Pretty much any function that has a high value customer engagement. So we're seeing companies like Wells Fargo, Wayfair, and CVS use AI Agent Assist to boost agent productivity, reduce handle times, and deliver more consistent customer experiences. It's different from traditional approaches because it's not hard scripted. It's dynamically providing suggestions while leaving the discretion of how to use it up to the human. So let's explore this. What makes AI Agent Assist, AI tools helping humans so effective? So in one word, empowerment. AI Agent Assist tools empower agents by enhancing their confidence, speed, and accuracy so they can focus on what truly matters, which is the empathy and the judgment and building meaningful relationships with your customers. In short, AI can focus on what it does best so that humans can focus on what they do best. It's very complementary, and AI can provide benefits while keeping the customer-facing human side of things in place. So before I get into that, I want to share a quick healthcare-related story, hence the healthcare logo that you see. I worked with a healthcare network that's one of the largest nonprofit health systems in the US with over 140 different hospitals, supporting millions of patient encounters every year, including telehealth. They had effectively centralized their different departments like scheduling and billing and heart centers within their regions. And the challenge that emerged was the volume of the calls. So they had effectively increased the number of calls routing into these centers. And as they were, of course, medical calls, they're complex and they're high stakes. It really doesn't get much more high stakes than medical. So we had helped them implement this new platform along with non-AI based scripting at the time. And what emerged from that solution was, despite focus on scripting, there remained a limited ability to respond on the spot to various requests from the customer. What we found was patients would often call in about more than one thing. That would cause topic switches. And inevitably, the scripts that we had made would fall behind, and their close rate and their customer satisfaction both declined because of this. And also the transfers went up. So the hard-coded scripting turned quickly from our best friend to our worst enemy because these call scripts absolutely required accuracy, and they took time to develop and tie together. Given the complexity of and sensitivity of the calls, really, and HIPAA compliance and things like that, and the topic switching that happened, basically our scripting efforts to maintain all these scripts really fell behind. So scripting was at that time still not enough to solve all their problems because of the technology could, as you've seen before, listen, verify, and act, but could not easily interpret the customer. And so you can see why listening in real time, hard coding scripting didn't cut it. It wasn't doing those sorts of things. So enter the missing piece, which was AI. Since then, this group has implemented a solution that interprets the current interaction in real time, assists the agents with prompting, suggestion, and knowledge base articles on the content based on the context of the call. This resulted for them in shaving off around 30 seconds of their average handle time and increasing their first call resolution by 15%. They didn't have numbers on these other parts, but it also improved their compliancy and consistency because AI Agent Assist was surfacing more accurate, more compliant type of data to the agent. So this is a really good example of the challenges that we're really trying to solve with this. And that it's really focused on the growing complexity of customer interactions, providing quick and accurate assistance on a consistent basis, while at the same time letting the agent keep the interaction very human oriented. So Agent Assist will help bridge that gap, and that's why it's so empowering. So specifically, why is this ability to empower agents important? As mentioned, it's a complementary relationship between AI and the human. So we can take the mental load and the regulatory compliance issues and task switching, all those gymnastics that happen off of the agent and let them focus on the human side of things. So as my health network friends discovered, the platform needs to be able to interpret what the customer is calling about and uses real-time intent extraction to do that. Once the intent is known, action can be taken. In this case, we're looking at a sales example with Nancy. So the agent, Nancy, is receiving real-time notifications during the call. In this case, the real-time checklist for what the agent has already covered is updated. And the solution's listening all the while, reminding the agent about different things. In this case, upselling items. And it will listen and check those items off the list as the agent covers them. Based on the customer's response, it's detecting and alerting here a pricing objection, and it pops the little toast pop up in the lower right. And that indicates, hey, we can provide a PDF document that talks through ROI tips. And so all this has been sort of pre-trained into the AI Agent Assist bot. And it's very flexible. It can be a note or a link or a document or whatever you think is going to help the agent. So beyond just the agent experience, further analytics can be used to identify areas of training opportunities, even after the interaction is complete, using post-call analytics. So here we see a review of all of Nancy's historical interactions, not real time, but historically, to determine how she can improve. So in this example, it's saying, did the rep fail counter at a pricing objection? But it could be any sort of QA category, any question that you want to ask it as defined by your management. So this can be used to uncover trainable issues for every agent. Here we see AI is telling us there's a 39% failure rate, 403 out of 1,034 times, whereas manual evaluations confirm that at 25%. But also note here that AI provides a much more consistent and comprehensive review, where in comparison, you saw it's 1,034 interactions that AI is reviewing versus 8 just for this one agent. So it's also much more effective to start with AI-based QA automation to identify areas that need more of a deeper dive that the QA manager can come in and take a look at. So we're definitely not removing manual reviews completely. That's a bad idea. We still want to have a person involved in the process, but it takes the load of the quality assurance off of the quality assurance manager to do that initial review. Historically, the greatest challenge of manual QA processing is that it's time consuming. Each interaction reviewed might take 3 to 6 times the length of the original call for just one interaction. So in summary, we're empowering the agent with real-time listening and feedback while we're also empowering the manager or supervisor at the same time, because it's reducing the QA heavy lift so that they can focus on their agents. So thinking back to my healthcare examples, that's really where they started with AI. And I think that's where a lot of companies will find benefit in starting, because it keeps people involved. It's not totally trying to automate everything, which I think is a lot of people's pushback on AI. So that brings up the next question, which is, how does it work? Let's take a quick look at the logical flow, and then we'll take another look at another example. So taking a closer look at what's actually happening when we deploy AI Agent Assist, which again, AI-based tools to coach agents, here's the steps. First, on the left-hand side, we want to gather the data that's relevant to your business. This can be FAQs, documented processes, customer data, product data, recording and transcripts, essentially any kind of document or record that includes relevant details for your customers. We feed all of that into the AI large language model. This is the AI brain and the interpreter. So we feed all this data, we train it. The training enables the large language models to process, interpret, and generate speech or text-based responses to your agent in this case. That can be phrases or paragraphs or structured data, documents that you've got plugged into it. It can deliver all this. And once it's trained, we're using that data in 2 ways. First, the intent agent, in this case in real time, is listening in and understanding what the customer and the agent are saying. And that helps it to understand the intent. And then from there, the workflows, once the intention is understood and confirmed, the workflows determine what action is taken. In this case, the workflow is to provide real-time coaching notifications to the agent, that's shown here, and to update AI-based analytics to provide additional QA insights. So that's going to be what's sent to the manager. So that's a quick summary of the Agent Assist overview and kind of how it works. So we've talked in depth so far about AI Agent Assist, but I also want to key in on an AI analytics sample next. So this is another example. This one's more focused on quality assurance or quality management. This is based on a Matrix customer who provides scheduling services for car dealerships where we've helped implement Agent Assist. And some of the data that I think was very telling. And the snapshot you see here is QA results a month into a 2-month process where they were implementing Agent Assist tools, including AI-based QM, quality management. So this was actually using Observe AI. And the problem, like we mentioned before, that they were struggling with was the time it takes to accomplish this QA process. 3 to 6 times the length of the call, of the original call, is the amount of time that it takes on average to QA that one individual call, right? So then extrapolate that across all the different calls that they're taking, and you can see the difference here. So the ability to review using AI-based quality management is orders of magnitude higher than without. So this increases the overall effectiveness and your ability to provide QA for all of your interactions. So like I said, this was midway through mapping out the evaluation. This took some work. It took about 2 months to bring the full platform up to speed, and this was midway through it. So at this time, the metrics showed 159 calls reviewed manually compared to 19,690 that had been reviewed automatically. So that's a snapshot, like I said, and it took the calls reviewed from a 1% of overall volume to a 96% of overall volume of their calls. So the breadth at which that we can review these calls goes through the roof. That's one of the most dramatic changes that we saw in this case. And we also see the difference between 58 agents QA'd monthly manually compared to 131 agents, which was for this group that we were deploying first. That was basically the full set of agents. And that was QA'd not just on a monthly basis, but on a daily basis automatically. So the snapshot, there's a reason I brought up this data that was kind of midway through it, because you really see how it works. So we were a month into a 2-month process. Right after that, you can see down at the bottom that we didn't have all of the questions mapped out. That's the part of the process that takes the most time. And at this time, we had 5 questions, like you see in the lower right, mapped out. By the following week, we had mapped out 15 additional questions, and we had upped that the following week after that to 30, which was the overall target. So the process starts by measuring the manual, mapping the initial auto QA questions, and then continuing to gradually map out the evaluations until it's parity with the original manual QA questions. So overall, we got these guys to full production in about 2 months, and ultimately the time saving for them was immense. And then also the results that we were seeing from the QA process and the completeness at which we could QA all of their calls was orders of magnitude higher. So when you're looking at AI Agent Assist in particular, here's some vocab words that might help you. First of all, of course, Agent Assist. So that's real-time AI support tools that provide agents with suggestions during live customer interactions to improve efficiency and accuracy. So that's the first one. We've seen that. We've seen examples of that here today. And the remainder of these below, the last 4, are subtypes of agent assistance that you might see. The first one is a knowledge suggestion. This is the process where AI surfaces relevant help articles, scripts, or policies based off of the live conversation context that it's listening to. So that's like the sales example that we saw with Nancy earlier. Next best action, NBA, relevant as Ryan mentioned before with the Pacers. Okay, so it's not that kind of NBA. Next best action, AI recommendations advising what's best to do next based on customer data and business rules. So this is something like send a contract with a discount added to this customer. Next one, which is similar, and we'll compare that, contextual prompts. These are AI cues or recommendations that adapt based on the live dialogue. So it's also based on customer history and CRM data and everything else that you want to feed into it, but it's guiding agents to respond appropriately. So if the customer says, cancel my account, it'll pop up that retention script And so it might help the agent through that process of trying to retain that customer. So the comparison between NBA and contextual is that NBA is the next best action. It's strategic. Contextual is tactical. So that's a comparison. They are similar, but they're slightly different. Finally, action triggering. These are automated actions based on detected intents within the conversation. So this could be potentially automating a schedule of a follow-up call. But there might be some interaction with the agent within that. That's the confirmation part of it. So there's a human in the loop element to that action triggering where it might prompt this, it might look for the best time on the calendar and allow the agent to confirm that as they're having a conversation with the customer, and then AI can push that scheduled call to the calendar at that point. So there's some automation that can be involved, and action triggering can power that within Agent Assist. So one more item to note, this is very important. These same sorts of things can be used not only by your agents in the contact center, but also by business users, depending on your needs. I didn't really focus on that in today's call, but I don't want to negate that. I want to make sure you understand these can also apply to business users. Might be slightly different, but there are tools out there that are built not for the contact center, but for business users.